Gentleman from California is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I thank the gentleman for his comments. I thank him for bringing this legislation. Salute him and Congress, the ranking member of the committee, Congresswoman Ross-Leighton, for her ongoing, persistent advocacy for human rights throughout the world. I thank you for your leadership as well, Mr. Berman, Mr. Chairman. I rise today in strong support of this resolution, calling on the Chinese government to end its human rights abuses in China and Tibet so that the Olympic Games can take place in an atmosphere that honors the Olympic traditions of freedom and openness. I thank Chairman Berman again and Ranking Member Ross-Leighton for bringing the resolution to the floor. With passage of this resolution, the House will speak with one voice about the conditions in China and Tibet on the eve of the Olympic Games. Madam Speaker, the Olympic Charter states that the Olympics should promote a peaceful society concerned with the preservation of human dignity. The reality is that human rights abuses committed by Chinese authorities are worsening in the weeks and months before the Olympics. In exchange for the privilege of hosting the Olympic Games, the Chinese government made commitments of freedom of the press, human rights, and on the environment. Many of these commitments have been violated repeatedly and blatantly. Both foreign and domestic journalists have been harassed, threatened, and detained. Human rights defenders and activists have been arrested and imprisoned at an alarming rate in recent months. The dialogue between the Chinese government and the representatives of His Holiness the Dalai Lama have gone nowhere. Thousands of peaceful Tibetans still languish in prisons in the aftermath of the protest that began in March. Chinese authorities have stepped up the so-called patriotic education campaigns that require Tibetan Buddhists, regardless of their true thoughts, to publicly denounce the Dalai Lama. The violations of human rights do not end on China's borders. On the international front, the Chinese government continues to support the genocidal regime in Sudan and the military junta in Burma. Their actions run counter to our interest in promoting peace and morality in the world. The situation in the Sudan would change drastically if the Chinese government would cooperate at the UN and send that message to the Sudanese government. It is in this context that President Bush is traveling to China to attend the Olympic Games. To my knowledge, a sitting president of the United States has never attended an Olympics on foreign soil. That gives the president tremendous leverage with the Chinese government, as he gives them tremendous face by attending the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. I have no objection to the president attending the Olympic Games. I do hope, though, that with all that all of the face, for lack of a better word, that the Chinese government will receive by his participation in the opening ceremony, that he will take the opportunity to use his leverage to speak very forcefully to the Chinese regime, not only about human rights in China and Tibet, of course that is a top priority, but also about the barriers to U.S. products going into China, about the dangers that are foisted upon our children and the American people by the lack of safety in the production of food. Shortly after, it's important for the body to know, and I'm sure others have made the point, that the president recently met with some advocates for human rights in China and Tibet. I was very proud that they had the opportunity to meet with the president in the White House, and I thank the president for doing that. But shortly after the president had the meeting, two of these people were detained on the way to a meeting with our colleagues, Congressman Smith and Congressman Frank Wolf of Virginia. So the message has to be, I think, clear to the Chinese government. We have concerns about jobs. We have concerns, U.S. jobs fleeing to China without an opening of their markets to our products. We have concerns about human rights in China and Tibet. We want to work with the Chinese government to fight global warming. There are areas where we can have a level of cooperation. But if we give them that level of respect by having the President of the United States be at the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games, it is important for the President when he is there, to deliver a strong message of concerns that we have in our country. I hope that we can have a brilliant future with China. Mr. Smith and Mr. Wolf and I have been trying for over 20 years, haven't we, been making this fight on human rights as well as others in this body, and our dear friend Mr. Lantos as well. They told us 19 years ago at the time of Tiananmen Square, if only we would engage economically with China, then human rights would improve there, democratization would take place, markets would be open to our products, but it just really hasn't happened. Here we are 19 years later. The Olympic Committee honored China by giving them the opportunity to host these Olympic Games. The President of the United States is honoring them by attending the opening ceremonies. It is very important that the opportunity afforded to China be met with responsible behavior on their part in terms of human rights in China and Tibet. So I hope that the President will not miss the opportunity that is historic, that has wide-ranging consequences, and which will be viewed with such favorability should he deliver the message when he is. The President has known for his freedom of religion, a commitment that he has made throughout the world, and it is one that I hope that he will carry with him to China as well. With that, again, I thank the gentleman and Congresswoman Ross-Layton for bringing this to the floor. I'm very thrilled that the Congress of the United States will speak with one voice on this important subject. I know the struggle for human rights is a long one, but we did not expect the Olympics to result in a situation where they were worsened in China instead of improved, as was the promise. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Gentlemen.